Hey folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on what I think is going to be a really stunning pair of earrings using my bargain bead box for April spring blossoms. And we're going to make use of this little component. Isn't this beautiful? I really love that piece. So anyway, let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, here we go. We've got the ear wires out of the kit. Actually, I think right now the only thing not from the kit is my jump rings that I'm going to use to hook everything together. And I'm going to need some 20 gauge German style wire in gold. Now I'm going to get about 6 inches of, well, 2 pieces of 6 inches. So let's get these out of the way. Now this has a little notch on this side, so I'm going to trim that off. Then I will get another piece out. Now this piece has the notch on this side because I just cut it. And instead of just measuring on the ruler again, I am just going to compare the two wires to each other. And clip them off. So what we are going to do with these is, that got crooked. No crooked wires. Straighten her up as much as you can anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this be a little dangle in the center. Oh, it looks like I didn't get quite enough jump rings out, but that's all right. We can get another one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this wire around the outside so it makes a double loop, but our inside is going to be or I should say this is our inside, this is going to be the outside. We're going to put a few chips on either side here. And then we are going to take and put another pink with another leaf. And a few more chips. Now hopefully everything will behave after I have my wire wrapped around, because there's always a possibility that it might not. But we are going to see in just a minute. So what we need is our wire mandrel, and we'll get that out. And I'm just going to use the handle because that is the size I want, is a big one, so that it will go around our little flowers arrangement here. So we'll just take this and wrap it around and this is going to hang in the middle. Though this isn't as tight as I want it to be, I'm going to have to put it back on and tighten it back up some more. But I want it to be about like this with my beads going around the loop. So okay, I'm going to do the other one at the same time so that we get our wires about the same size when we're finished with them, because these things do like to loosen up somewhat. You see, this one is tight, much tighter than this one, I think. Well, maybe not. They look pretty close. Though I do think this one is a little bit larger. That's better. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to take our bench block and our chasing hammer, and we're going to give this some work hardening. So now that we've done that, first thing to do is to make sure our beads are going to go on here. They did go on here when it was flat. I checked that earlier, but will they still swing around now that they are not flat? That is the question. Oh, it looks like they're going to go just dandy fine. Don't tell me you're going to be a difficult one, are you? There we go. But that got me out of shape there. Well, we'll have to see what we can do about that. We'll want to make sure that we get the same shape as our other side there. So now we want 2 or 3 of the peridot chips. I had tested these to see if they would go on through their holes, but it seems that they have different sized holes because some of them are going on easily and others do not seem to want to. So, and one's on the floor. Well, that was my first bead I dropped today, so I guess that's par for the course there. that's what we're looking like. I am wanting to put a spacer in here, I think, so we'll get a couple spacers out. And even though everything else is behaving, oh my goodness, I just really got that out of alignment. These leaves don't seem to want to behave. Definitely gonna have to fix that. But a couple more chips, and then we'll go work on the other side. So let's put the 3 chips on this side that I have on the other side. Can't find the hole in that one. There we go. Come on, hole. There we go. Now I have to see if I can get that to the middle and get it reshaped. But this is then going to hang in the middle like so. This is obviously way out of shape, and we're going to have to get it back into some kind of semblance of order here. So we're way bigger than this one now. See? So we need to get this back in shape. Looks like they need to come this way. Still think they need to come some more that way. And then we need to, this is obviously not going to work quite the way I want it to, because obviously we got beads on it now. But this is a bigger hoop than I actually wanted it to be, so we'll just work it some. Okay, I got it back to about the right size, but still not quite in the middle, but that's all right. We have another step to make, and that might make it a little smaller yet, which would be good. But I'll have to adjust the stone some more. So now our next step is to get out our bell making pliers. We'll use this size on the smaller side. And what we're going to do is just roll these sides till they meet. See, that's bigger than I wanted it to be. See how it's, even with the loop open, it's going to be quite a bit bigger than I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually, let's see if it's going to work. I'm actually going to cut these loops off. When we do the other one, we'll remember to do that. We're going to cut them right at where they come together here. And then we're going to re-wrap them. And hopefully I didn't cut off too much wire. Okay, so now to get these to go more in a circular pattern, take these and just bring them around together like so. And then, actually I think I have it about where I want it at. Now if you need it to be more, if it's ovaled up too much, you can just take and carefully squish it down, like so. And then they're going to sit like that. But because they're not quite in the center, I'm going to try and get them more centered here. Okay, this is not quite over here far enough. One peridot chip wants to stay up there, and I do not want it to stay up there. I want it to come down here so that this pink bead right here is about in the middle of our strand. Uh-oh. Looks like I broke a peridot, but I'm not sure which one broke. Looks like one of these. Well, since that happened, what I'm going to have to do to make these more symmetrical here is I'm going to have to break off one of these other peridot over here so that they're all 2 instead of this one having 3. So in order to do that, just take your pliers and crunch it. Now, even though those are stones, they'll still crunch because they're, well, for one thing, it's the way they're made, because their holes are not entirely in the center, because a chip is just however it wants to be, more or less. It allows it to break where the edge is at. Come on, you need to go that way, just a hair's breadth. And then I think we may be pretty good. Well, we're still out of center a little bit, but not so much I'm going to worry about it. So we'll bring these back together. You can see the pink one is still not quite down at the very center, but it's not off by much. So push down so we're sort of more rounded. And there we are. Then we're gonna, like I say, put this in the center. So our next step is to hook this all together. So to hook it together, what we need to do is to get jump rings on all of these pieces, component pieces here. So that is, and I think I got not quite enough jump rings, but that's all right, we'll get some. Sorry, there was a little chunk of peridot in my pliers, so it wasn't closing quite right. So what we'll do is put a jump ring on this guy. Now we need to get our ear wire and one more jump ring. We'll have to get 3 more jump rings out of the bin in just a second. So then what you do is hook through one, then our middle one here, then our other side, and that's going to be too high, so I'm not even going to finish. See how much higher that is? So what we need to do is get a couple more jump rings to bring this down. Now we could use chain or something like that as well. I'm just going to use a couple of jump rings because we're going to need to have 2 on here. And what I'm going to use is these tiny ones here. Gonna have to find my other package of jump rings. So anyway, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this bigger one off. We're going to put it through one of the little ones. Come on, you. Close it back up. Then we're going to take one more of the little ones. Go through this tiny little one and through our flower. Come on, you. And hopefully that'll give it enough length to not bump into things anymore. We'll see in just a minute. Okay. Come on, jump rings. What are you doing here? Okay. So now we'll take this one again. And again, we're going to go through this first one here. Then the middle piece. Then this guy. And then our ear wire. Making sure that we have our ear wire facing so that our flower piece is to the front. And close it up. Oh yeah, that's much better with the couple of little ones in there. Come here, you. Don't be bunching up. So it looks like so. So now, let's do the second one. So we have pink one in the middle, one of these leaves on either side, come on, you, go down. Oops, not that far. It's funny how some of them slide right across and others really don't want to. So now we have two of our peridot on either side here. Then the gold spacer. Pink bead on both sides. One of the leaves. Two more peridot pieces. Finding the holes in these guys is a little bit of a challenge. No more falling on the floor. Okie. Now I need to get this sort of back in shape, and then we're going to roll the loops and cut the first one off and then roll the second one. So we'll do that now. Now we cut them off. And we'll re-roll those. Now we want to get these back into shape by just bringing them back together and then pushing down some. Oops, that's too much some. Now we need to get these guys more centered here. These need to go up some on this side. Come on, you guys. So let's see. One thing we need to do is see if this is about the same size as the other one. And yeah, it looks pretty good, but it does need to come over some more. And we need to get this more centered. It's definitely not centered right now. Come on, you, go up. And I'm getting it out of shape again as I'm trying to get these into place, but that's all right, we'll get it back in. Still needs to move a little bit more to this side. So we will see if we can get those leaves going just a bit more up here. Oh, that looks pretty good. Now back into shape again. Compare. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to put it together. So the first one we're going to put together is the little ones onto this guy and get it all put together here. Come on, you. There we go. Come on, little ring, go in there. Well, I guess it has to open because it doesn't want to go on here right now. Oh, come on, grab it. There we go. Now we'll get this other jump ring, the bigger one, and close her up. Now we put these on the ring. Okay. Now for our last jump ring. We put this one, then this one, then this one, and then our ear wire. Making sure you pay attention to the front and back of your ear wire because you don't want it to be going backwards. And there's earring number 2. There are our little double hoop earrings using our bargain bead box. Spring blossoms. Aren't those pretty? Okie dokie. there we are. There is our really pretty earrings using our Spring Blossoms bargain bead box. Aren't those pretty? I love that ring, that middle ring. So I hope you enjoyed making these with me. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. And again, we've been using the Spring Blossoms kit from Bargain Bead Box. I believe it was April's. Hope you enjoyed making these with me. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.